Hi there, everyone. How you doing? It's Jeff C. It is Tuesday, August 12th. I hope everybody's doing well. A lot of crazy things happening. And, I'm not one to normally cover celebrity deaths or celebrity stories, although I did do the Philip Seymour Hoffman, which had unbelievable coincidences, right? We're going to hear this word a few times in this podcast. But the latest one might really take the cake. This is, of course, Robin Williams, who died all of a sudden, just right out of the blue. I mean, they were saying that he killed himself, right? That he asphyxiated himself with a belt. I believe that's the official story. But once again, we see these crazy, crazy coincidences, which is a word I'm going to obliterate in a few minutes, because these are not coincidences. You have to be completely daft, a shill, or a fucking idiot to believe that these things are coincidences, because they happen over and over and over again. All right, and if you remember the quote that George W. Bush totally destroyed, he couldn't get it right, but it was "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Well, they keep fooling the masses. They keep pulling this stuff off, and we're expected to believe it. Now, the latest, of course, off of Time magazine is that BBC aired Robin Williams' Family Guy episode as news broke out of his death. So yes, indeed, there was a Family Guy episode that aired just minutes before Robin Williams was declared dead. And in the episode, apparently, the main character... Now, I'm not really familiar with Family Guy. I've seen it a couple times way back when, so I don't watch television, but... the main character, I believe it's the big fat guy with the glasses, Peter Griffin, is outraged by a roast of Robin Williams on TV that he thinks it's too mean. And then after he declares, "I wish everyone was Robin Williams," he gets struck by lightning and then wakes up from a coma with the power to turn everyone he touches into Robin Williams. But he becomes overwhelmed by the number of Robin Williams in the world and tries to kill himself by jumping off a cliff, landing on Mrs. Doubtfire. One of the next scenes shows Peter Griffin with his hands cut off, his way of finally trying to get rid of the superpower, basically, right? So there was some Twitter quotes here. Anybody else's head feel a bit trippy? That last night's Family Guy episode on BBC Three was where everybody Peter touched turned into Robin Williams. Was I the only one that was creeped out when the BBC Three showed Robin Williams' Family Guy episode while his death was being announced? And, of course, the idiots or shills saying it's just a spooky coincidence. And the BBC said the show's airing had not been intentional. It was scheduled more than 2 weeks ago, so it was an uncanny coincidence, right? Yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah, if you're so stupid that you trust the BBC... Now, I've shown the BBC so many times on my show. I can think of recently when the BBC was flashing dozens of Illuminati symbols, subliminally. You had to slow it down to catch them all, but during their match of the day soccer game. And it was like, what the hell are they doing? Well, they're doing this stuff all the time. This is the British Brainwashing Corporation, right? They are right at the top of the New World Order, especially when it comes to programming people with all the crap that's going on. Now, I came across this coincidence, this weird coincidence, when I saw Paul Joseph Watson's video. And here's a video that I think you should check out because it's quite something. Weird coincidence. Robin Williams' Family Guy suicide episode airs before his death. But of course, Paul Joseph Watson doesn't think it's anything. He goes into Carl Jung or something and some sort of philosophical thing about, fucking bullshit about how, the death, there's some sort of mass consciousness out there, and that's how these coincidences happen and all this crap. No, it's not like they planned it or it's part of their whole way they code these things. No, it had nothing to do with that. And if you believe that, well, you better listen into Paul Joseph Watson, who works for InfoWars. I'm sure most people know that. But let's just listen to how he describes it here. And Mr. Watson, don't even think about trying to nail me for copyright, because this is 100% non-profit.
Uncanny coincidence. Some of our people who work here noticed that the death of Robin Williams was announced just as this episode ended. And before the mainstream media writes hit pieces about InfoWars claiming the Illuminati killed Robin Williams, no, that's not what I'm saying. Although a lot of people in the conspiracy community are claiming
The conspiracy community.
precisely that. Here's one example. I am leaning on the possibility he was taken out by the powers that be, but I can't possibly fathom why. He hasn't been relevant to the mainstream for a while, and unless he did something behind the scenes to piss them off, then it makes no sense. Unless he's one in a line of sacrifices during this lunar time. So, of course, as we unfortunately are all too aware of, whenever somebody in Hollywood dies, the lunatics immediately come out of the woodwork and make YouTube videos about how it was an Illuminati sacrifice. That's...
Right? Did you catch that? The lunatics? The lunatics. So if you look into this stuff and you think there's something occult with it, Paul Joseph Watson, who works for InfoWars, there's his photo right there. This guy thinks that you're a fucking lunatic. So maybe you should go to Paul Watson's video and give him a piece of your mind, because this type of programming is what we're used to, Mr. Watson, with the corporate media. I could give you dozens of examples of Cenk Uygur alone using that term to totally, discredit those of us who did all the research on Sandy Hook, an event that you guys wouldn't touch with a 10-foot fucking pole, nor the Boston bombing, which has the total link to the Family Guy. Once again, Seth MacFarlane, this guy who is definitely on the inside, this guy that definitely knows what's going on, and this guy that is 100% coding these things into his fucking shows. And if you want to be an idiot like Paul Joseph Watson, you can pretend that it's some sort of philosophical, mass consciousness thing that's creating these things. Or maybe you could believe that these coincidences don't add up. What's the quote from the Batman movie? You're a detective now. You're not allowed, or you're not supposed to believe in coincidences anymore. And they actually said that quote twice in that Dark Knight movie. I think it was The Dark Knight Rises. I can't remember the last one that it was. Okay. So, and he goes into a whole long spiel about it and talks about the lunatics, of course. He quotes Godlike Productions, right? It's just some anonymous poster and saying, well, this is what all these lunatics think about. Well, let's continue on here, because then last night I came across this video by Mark Dice. Now, Mark Dice, in case you're confused, works for InfoWars. In fact, he just appeared on InfoWars a couple days ago. Go figure, right? And Mark Dice came out with this video so quickly. It was the first video that came up, and look, already 147,000 views, in which he says, Robin Williams murdered by Illuminati as celebrity sacrifice according to conspiracy theorists, even though he did not give one example in this video, not one, not a fucking lick, nothing, not a quote, not even what Paul Watson, Joseph Watson showed with the Godlike Production quote that he took off the internet, nothing. He just came up with this title and automatically assumed that everyone was gonna, or all these people were gonna come out with murdered by the Illuminati. Now you have to ask yourself, how would Mark Dice know this? Right? Working with InfoWars, working with Paul Joseph Watson. Now let's play just a tiny little bit of this
Dr.
scumbag.
Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63 in an apparent suicide. There are reports that he was recently battling with severe depression. And I can guarantee you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that there are countless crazies putting together conspiracy crossword
Crazies, lunatics, putting together countless crazy, conspiracy crossword puzzles. He loves to use those
puzzles that are going to
rhymes.
blame the Illuminati for murdering him, as they do with every single celebrity that dies from natural causes, drug overdose, suicide, car accidents, etc.
Yeah.
Look at this! Robin Williams has been seen make Illuminati symbol. He must know something. He's known something for many years. Look at this old picture from the 19th.
Well, they all have to make the fucking symbol, including Mark Dice. In fact, I can show you right here. Mark Dice. And let's see Mark Dice making this symbol here for your very own eyes. Where the fuck is it? Ah, there it is. Yes, there. Mark Dice. Right? The one-eye symbol. They all have to make it at some point. There's Mark Dice again, making it once again. Mark Dice is 100% disinfo. The fact that he works with InfoWars should raise a fucking alarm bells with you concerning InfoWars, because I'm seriously starting to, really wonder what the hell is going on with InfoWars, what their real purpose is. Because having lying fucking scumbags like Mark Dice, whose sole purpose is to send people down the trail of disinfo, to take people away from legitimate investigations, something that's completely alien to Mark Dice's being, right? The fact that this guy couldn't do investigative journalism if his fucking life depended on it. All he can do is quote from his stupid ass book and tell you all the different ways that you can buy it, right? The fact that InfoWars has characters like this constantly springing up on their channel has to make you wonder. It has to really make you wonder what the fuck these people and what the fuck they're up to. Because this is beyond coincidence for me. It really is. And I really have to question right now what's going on. I have to question what's going on with these types of people here who come out and start labeling people who, do research, for instance, to find all the coincidences that evolve around this show called The Family Guy, right? And why is it so important that the Family Guy is constantly involved? Well, I'm going to show you this. And if you haven't seen any of this, you're going to be blown away by the predictive programming that is shown in this show. So we're really going to get to it, sort of thing. And if Robin Williams is consistently making the Illuminati symbols, like so many of the other celebrities, just about every celebrity you can think of has had to appear with one eye or owl eyes or whatever, right? That's how they do it. Right? They have to let people know. Now, we can just quickly take that away and, just put that in, and you will see how they do it. I mean, every single one of them has to make this symbol. I know I'm preaching to the converted here, but this is how it works. This is how their secret satanic society works, and Mark Dice is no doubt a member of it. That's why he's got 300,000 subs and book deals, and he appears on Alex Jones. Right? We've had enough of this shit. We've had enough of your crap in our faces and all this crap that's going on. If you're going to put these celebrity deaths in our faces and tell us we're lunatics for finding all the coincidences, which surely are not coincidences once you break them down. There's no fucking way they're coincidences. This is called predictive programming. This is how they condition people. This is how they put it in your subconscious, and next thing you know, bang, somebody's dead. Somebody they were just talking about, somebody that they just put in one of their shows, somebody that was just on the BBC just minutes earlier in an episode about them which revolved around suicide. You can't make this shit up. I say it all the time. So I came to this channel here, Kimberly Denise. I'm going to play some of your video here, Kimberly. I hope you don't mind. Now, TMZ was the outlet that Mark Dice uses as an encyclopedia. It's it's Mark Dice's go-to source for information.
Man, TMZ has reported Paul Walker has died. The Fast and Furious car has died.
Well, they reported this 2 days before he died. This was 2 days before he actually died. They had this. So TMZ.com puts this up. They do this all the fucking time. Now, I don't know what happens to these celebrities. I don't know if they really die. I don't know what happened to Philip Seymour Hoffman. I don't know what happened to Paul Walker. I don't know. They could be on an island. They could be taking new identities. Who the fuck knows, right? I can't know that. I'm not there on the scene. I'm not working with the forensics or anything like that. It's all covered up anyways, right? But what I can see are all the predictive programming that's put out there constantly by the media, right? So I want to show you this and show you how the Family Guy has shown several of these things, including most notably the Boston bombing, which I think Joseph Watson actually thinks is a real bombing. So they just happened to kill this guy right before Paul Walker got killed, and Paul Walker's character's name was Brian on the Fast and Furious. I haven't seen the movie, or the movies. There's a bunch of them, right? You tell me that's a fucking coincidence. And they kill one of the main characters off Family Guy. It's just a coincidence, right? Paul Joseph Watson, right? Mark fucking Shill Dice, Narc Lice as I call you, you fucking scumbag. And we're coming after you. We're going to expose your fucking asses because you guys are not real. You people are fucking liars and you're profiting off of fucking bullshit. So let's continue with this because you're going to see even more crazy coincidences.
That guy sucked.
You've given me a wonderful life. I love you all.
And you have to ask yourself, how often is it in a cartoon show? A cartoon, right? A comedy cartoon where they actually kill one of the main characters. Right? So here's another one. Fox TV Family Guy, Season 11, Episode 15, The Turban Cowboy. Aired March 17th, 2013. Right? Right when the Boston bombing happened. Contains 2 references to the Boston Marathon attack, which took place less than 1 month later on April the 15th, 2013.
Holy crap, this is awesome! I haven't felt a rush like this since I won that marathon.
I'm Bob Costas, here with Boston Marathon winner Peter Griffin. Peter, how did you do it?
I'll tell you, Bob, I just got in my car and drove it. And when there was a guy in my way, I killed him. Damn phone's busted. Maybe I dialed wrong.
Yeah, and just so you know, those I'm pretty damn sure, I remember doing this at the time or reading at the time, that those 2 detonations were timed almost exactly like the actual 2 detonations of the Boston bombing. So here's the other show that Seth MacFarlane does called American Dad. Season 9, Episode 15, which I heard the day before. This is the day before the fucking Boston bombing. And if you haven't got a clue yet, and you're shilling below, and you're writing these comments saying you're a fucking lunatic, well, you can just eat shit and motherfucking die. Okay? Because this is no fucking coincidence.
What are the chances?
I gotta be honest with you, Snot. I wasn't really looking forward to this night, but I had a blast.
Well, call the bomb squad, because with the blast I had, that makes 2 blasts.
Yeah, right. Okay. How good are we at that?
There you go. So, that makes 3 coincidental references to the Boston Marathon attack with a CIA agent stating, mission accomplished. Okay? Which appear in 2 Seth MacFarlane animated shows, as I said before. And each show is the episode 15 of its respective season, and the attack took place on April the 15th, 2013. Okay? So all you scumbags out there that want to put comments below saying that you're lunatics because you believe in the Illuminati.
The Illuminati! The Illuminati planned the bombing at Boston! These conspiracy theorists and film! The Illuminati had it all planned!
Right, Mark? Narc Lice? You piece of shit, motherfucker? Lying scumbag? Right? And if you are subscribed to a scumbag like Narc Lice, you really need to think twice about following that son of a bitch. Or unless you subscribe to him just so you can insult him like I do. Now, to take it one fucking step further, because it's always a step further, let's take a good look at Mr. Seth MacFarlane right here. This is off list first. 10 famous people who avoided death on 9/11. Right? We already had the 10 people that did not board the Titanic, which was another staged event here. Larry Silverstein, of course. Michael Lomonaco. I don't know who he is. Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm not going to get into all these characters and why they didn't die or did they not get on the plane or whatever. I just wanted to focus on, Mark Wahlberg. Go fucking figure. Marky Mark, you fucking scumbag, Illuminati piece of shit. Another scumbag. Sarah Ferguson, go figure, right? The fucking British Royals, the satanic lair itself. Who's the number one guy, you ask? Jeff, who is it? Come on, give me the drum roll. It's none other than Seth MacFarlane. Go fucking figure. Ha ha ha. Right? Seth MacFarlane has made millions laugh as an animator, writer, producer, and director of the voice cartoons such as Family Guy and American Dad and The Cleveland Show. However, if it had not been for a mix-up in his travel itinerary on September 11th, 2001, MacFarlane would never have had the chance to create American Dad or The Cleveland Show. Just go fucking figure, right? On September 11th, 2001, he was scheduled to return to Los Angeles on American Airlines Flight 11 after being a keynote speaker at his alma mater, the Rhode Island School of Design in Rhode Island. Fortunately for MacFarlane, his travel agent told him his flight would leave Logan Airport at 8:15 a.m. when it was actually scheduled to depart at 7:45. So it's just... he told me the wrong time. Of course, that's, it's his travel agent. I mean, the only thing the travel agent has to do is get you the time and tell you what time you have to be there. It's the hardest thing in the world. But they mess up all the time, don't they? Right? Especially when they're working for multi-gazillionaire celebrities. Right? So when it was actually scheduled to rise. So MacFarlane arrived at Boston Logan Airport a few minutes after boarding was stopped on his flight and was told he would have to wait for the next flight. An hour later, Flight 11 was flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, killing everyone on the plane. But MacFarlane quickly contacted his parents after the plane hit the World Trade Center to tell them he was not on it and he was alive. Probably contacted them before, Who the fuck knows? In an interview, MacFarlane recalled what happened with his usual sense of humor. I was booked on that flight, and I was drinking the night before and hungover, and I missed the plane by 10 minutes. That's not what we were told. In fact, we were told that your agent told you it was the wrong time. He told you the wrong time. So once again, as we've seen time and time again, these are people that do research. I'm one of these guys that does research, I actually research things. I actually find contradictions. I'm not like... I'm not like Paul Joseph Watson, or certainly not like Mark Dice, where I discount all the coincidences that add up. And I think it's the Illuminati that did it, right? I find the fallacies in their statements. So here's one that's really, really a great one, because you can see right here, he said, I missed the plane by 10 minutes because he was drinking the night before, but yet just before here, they say it, right, that it was, right here, fortunately for MacFarlane, his travel agent told him his flight would leave the airport at 8:15 when it was actually scheduled to depart. So they lie to you just in that article alone. So alcohol, here he jokingly states, alcohol is our friend. I think it's moral, the moral of the story. He also said that he thanked God that his travel agent screwed up the departure time, or he would have been on board and he wouldn't have known what to do when the terrorists took over the plane. On the February 10th, 2011, MacFarlane announced he was directing the first feature-length film, Ted. The film stars Mark Wahlberg, who also survived by missing the Flight 11 on that flight. They were all going to be on that flight together, and they just missed it. If you believe that's a coincidence, then you are the stupidest fucking person out there. There's nothing I can do for you. And if you write down below that you're a fucking lunatic or these are just coincidences, you are a shill. You're a scumbag. You work for the New World Order. This scumbag works for the New World Order. Do not support these scumbags. Don't watch their fucking bullshit programming. Fuck their fucking entertainment. Fuck their mind control programming. Fuck these scumbags who are part of the whole thing. And there's no doubt in my mind that every person that's on this thing is part of it. From Sarah Ferguson to Marky Mark faggot fucking, you remember when he got his fucking peck implants? right? So he can look more muscular. What a scumbag phony that guy is, right? All these people, right? They're all fucking scumbags, and they're all part of it. And that is a fact. Gwyneth Paltrow. That's a fucking fact. Gwyneth Paltrow was just in the movie Contagion, which it's all about a hemorrhagic fever outbreak, which she dies early in the film, tragically, leaving Matt Damon, CIA Matt Damon, to, deal with the consequences and all this. These motherfuckers out of Hollywood are programming us. They're programming your children. They're teasing us. They are toying with us. They're manipulating us. They are fucking scumbags. And they deserve whatever nastiness comes to a scumbag like this. It's a long time coming, buddy. Whatever karma hunts you down, I hope it's... I just hope it matches the shit that you're putting out there. Because you are a fucking evil son of a bitch. And so are you, you fucking scumbag, Mark Dice. We're going to fucking sink you, and we already are, and it's already on full time. We are exposing you at every fucking turn. And if Paul Joseph Watson wants to join that list, hey, don't worry, buddy. I'll be happy to add you on board. You're going to call people lunatics for seeing the fucking obvious things that are programmed in our mass culture, which is constantly brainwashing people, which is constantly putting pedophilia and Satanism and everything else in front of your children's faces, and you want to listen to a scumbag like this that's going to tell you you're fucking lunatic for finding these coincidences? Fuck you, Paul Joseph Watson. You just entered my shit list.